Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a few stories, funny stories, English day by day stories. And these stories, I learned these stories many years ago, almost 30 years ago, when I started to study English, to attend an English course at the Shenker Institute in Milan. The Shenker method was invented by former General George Shenker, and it was a method to teach English to Italian soldiers during the Second World War. It was a demanding method. You were almost obliged to learn many English stuff by heart, to listen to teacher and to repeat in order to try to imitate them and to improve your pronunciation in English, because the first thing that they taught us was to know that pronunciation is the main problem when you need to learn a foreign language, particularly English language. So this story I learned, as I told you, many years ago, and a few of them, I can say that sometimes it happened to remember a part of them, or many other stories that I recorded in my previous video. I know them simply by heart. And this is the first one. The first one is a dialogue that occurred in a barber shop between a barber and a customer. "Haircut, sir?" asked the barber. "Speak up, I'm a bit deaf. I ask you if you want a haircut." "Oh yes, please, just a trim, nothing off the top." "Nice weather we are having, sir." "It's not likely to last," replied the customer. "But the weather report said that the temperature were rising all over England." "Speak up, I can't hear you." "I told I was a bit deaf." "Nice head of hair you've got, sir." "I look after it," replied. "What do you put on it?" "Nothing," said the customer. "That's a mistake, sir. Needs a little oil." "Rubbish! Oil collects dust." "Try a little of this, sir. It's my own preparation." "No, thanks." "You have a shampoo, won't you?" "Neither, thanks. Just a haircut." "You ought to take care of your hair, sir." "Quiet. That's just what I'm doing, thank you." The second story is Plenty of Room. The Bishop of Hereford one day met the richest and proudest gentleman of the town. "I haven't been to church for 6 months," said the gentleman. "True," replied the bishop gravely. "I've noticed that." "And I will never go to the church as long as I live," said the gentleman. "Indeed? And why? Why not, may I ask?" "Because, if you want the truth, your church is full of hypocrites." "Don't worry, sir, dear sir," smiled the bishop. "There is always room for one more." The title is "Why Wait?" and it's a story about Mark Twain, an American humorist who was very fond of food. In a certain town where he lived for a few months, the lady next door used to invite local celebrities to dinner almost every evening. Unlikely, the food she provided was both poor in quality and insufficient in quantity, and second helpings were not allowed. Mark Twain was only invited once. At the end of the dinner, the hostess said to him, "It was very nice of you, Mr. Twain, to come. I do hope we will have a dinner with me again." By all means, replied the guest. Let's start now. This story is a little misunderstanding, and it's about what happened to Enrico Caruso, famous Italian singer. And he had just sat down in a New York restaurant when he noticed an old friend of his at another table. The woman, Ernestine Schumann-Heink, was a very famous contralto. Caruso went over to join her. Just as he got his friend's table, the waiter came and placed a large stick in front of her. Large? It was gigantic. The plate was hardly big enough to hold it. Caruso gazed at it open-mouthed, unable to hide his amazement. My dear lady, cried at last, surely you are not going to eat that alone? Alone, Enrico, replied his friend. Of course not, with roast potatoes. And this one is about an angry debate that was held many years ago in the House of Commons in the United Kingdom. The title of this story is Potatoes in Parliament. An angry debate was held last night in the House of Commons on the proposed new taxes on potatoes, kitchen knives, and false teeth. Winter is on its way, said Colonel Treetop, Conservative from York. Housewives in larger cities have little enough on their shelves already. You know, this story is, I don't know exactly when when really happened this debate, but this image, housewives in larger cities have little enough on their shelves already, with so many, picture of empty shelves in Britain, in these recent days. So, a tax on potatoes is the last straw, he said. Mice are better off than men, declared Adam Fogg, socialist devil. Cheese, at least, is still untaxed. But the bitterest comment came from Sir Joshua Bellyport, liberal, from Leicester. Members will notice that this government does nothing by halves. We must pay extra not only for our potatoes, but also for knives to cut them and even for teeth to bite them. Eating, in fact, is rapidly becoming a criminal offense. And this story is about, the title is A Story in the Dark, and is about Scotsman, a business Scotsman. Everybody knows that Scotsmen have a reputation for avarice. Between you and me, this reputation is greatly exaggerated. The Scots are among the kindest and most hospitable people on earth. However, no one ever gets tired of jokes about them. I heard a good one the other day about a reporter who was sent to Aberdeen to interview a very rich whiskey distiller. He discovered the old fellow at home, doing his accounts by the light of a candle. Tell me how you made your fortune, sir, was the first question the journalist asked. Our readers would be most interested. I, replied the old man, I'll be glad to tell you, but it's going to be a long story, and while I'm telling it, we may as well save the candle. and he blew it out. Never mind about the story, said the reporter. I understand. And this is the first part of this story.